How's it going, guys? So, the prison event is coming to an end, and pretty much as the event ends, we're going to get a new event right after it. Pretty much like, I think it's a few hours of break in between only. It's very tight, I should say. And with this new event, we're going to get a new banner with 3 new operators. So, as tradition, when there's a new operator coming, should you pull is coming. This time around, it's going to be a bit different since we will be talking about all 3 of the operators. And since it's going to be quite a lot of content to go through, let's begin with the short answer. Should you pull this banner? The answer is yes. So let's talk about the details. But first, because I will be talking about all 3 of the operators, maybe not in the same level of details, but I will be talking about all of them. If you want to skip to a certain operator, I will leave timestamps down below into sections of this video, and you can skip to the section that you want to. So let's begin. First of all, let's look at Beanstalk. Beanstalk is one of the kind of a Vanguard, as you can see, 4-star Vanguard, but attack range of a sniper? Yes, she's a first high ground ranged Vanguard. But usually don't we use Vanguards like maybe block the enemies a bit? Even Myrtle, like even though they don't really block when their skills activate, but they block, right? How is she going to do that? Well, the interesting thing is that she can summon this crab to block for her. But before we go into the deeper details, let's look at her talent first. So you might think, well, it's a summon, then it must die, right? Her talent covers this. So when the crab, I don't really know the actual translation of it, but the crab will refresh itself 17 seconds once it dies. This will be 15 seconds at E2. So it's like pretty much I can't say invincible because it dies, but it will pretty much quickly deploy. But you cannot change the position of the crab until you retreat Beanstalk. So keep that in mind. Now, her skills are also very interesting. So her first skill is more like your typical Vanguard skills. So after, well, M3 we're talking about, it takes 30 seconds to charge up her skill 1 and it will recover 8 SP. And because it is a manually triggered skill, that will, when you trigger this skill, it will also refresh the crab. So you know how like when usually the crab just dies and it's like 15-second wait, this skill will immediately refresh it. So if it's like half health, it will regenerate the health. If it's dead, it will just respawn and have full health. Generate DP, refresh the crab. Very simplistic. Her second skill is more to the type of not focused on generating DP, but more surrounding the crab. So what this skill is that at M3, this skill will cost 40 SP, 40 seconds to charge, and it will last only 15 seconds. During this skill duration, the 4 adjacent slot to the crab will also spawn a temporary crab. And during the span of the 15 seconds, you will recover a total of 12 SP, and all the crabs will gain 70% defense. So as you can see, this is like more about the crab, and the first skill is more akin to just producing DP, also having the crab do something a little bit different. But generally, I would stick with skill 1, but skill 2 is also very interesting. Be aware that because it is only a melee unit, if the spot next to it is a high ground, not like if it's a place where you can't put down melee units, the crab will not spawn. I think that is very easy to understand why. So her trait is something a bit not as impressive, I would say. So the trait is that when she's attacking enemies that is blocked by the crab, her attack will increase to 150%. It's not as significant because even at max level and max trust, she will only have 455 attacks. So as a Vanguard, it's pretty much like not that big of a deal, like about 680-ish attack. Not that significant, I must say. And the crab will only block 1 as well, so it's not that big of a deal. But as you can see, she is a very unique operator, and if you want to use like something like ranged only playthrough, she will be pretty much your only block in terms of a vanguard, right? Obviously you can have operators like Rosmontis to summon those pillars just to block the enemies a bit, but this is more like a actual summoning unit to block the enemies. So if you ever want to try this playstyle, I would definitely recommend Beanstalk. Next, let's talk about Iris. This is also another very interesting operator, okay? As you can see, she's a single target caster, but also another one of its kind. Her attack interval is 3 seconds, so that is pretty lengthy, and as you can see, mine is easier level 1, and she's already got 678 attack. Obviously that includes the 130 attack from the trust, but that is still very high. At max level and max trust potential 1, she will have almost 1400 base attack, so that is very, very high. And the special thing about Iris is not her talent, it's not her skill, it's actually her trait. So listen to this. Her trait is that she deals arcs damage as a caster. That is very normal, but when she can attack, right, 3 second interval, when she can attack but there is no target within her attack range, she will charge that attack, and you can have at most 3 charges, and when the enemy comes into her range, she will unleash all 3 charges together. Now, her talent is that her charge attack will do 130% of her attack. So it's like you can have 3 charges of 130%. That's pretty much 390% of her base attack. Did I mention that she has almost 1400 base attack at E2 max level and max trust? So you can see how stupidly high this attack can be. I did some calculation and it adds up to be like almost 5200 attack on a single shot. No buffs, nothing at all. It's just charge for 9 seconds, boom, 5.2k. Now, if you have her to potential 5, her talent will be plus 134%. So pretty much it will be 500% of her base attack into one shot. And that is a very high damage. So I've seen some people use her into like, you know, one-shotting Patriot kind of a situation can be done. Like obviously every other operator can kill Patriot like easily now. Like Patriot is pretty much the tool to test out new operators. But one-shotting Patriot consistently without any RNG, Iris is your choice. So she's not specifically like, you know, you use it all the time kind of operator, but if you want to have some fun with that kind of like absurd amount of damage, Iris is your choice. That being said, we still have to talk about her skills up a little bit because obviously like she is a bit different. So skill 1 is that her attack area will change. You can think of pretty much a E1 Ifrit, so it's 4 tiles in front of her, and she will have greatly decreased attack interval, pretty much like 0.6 seconds, I think. And she will deal 30% of her arch damage every attack. So it's more of a rapid attack, not even AoE. Like, if I need to remind you, not AoE, but more like a rapid attack in a single lane. I don't really see myself using that, to be honest. Obviously, you can charge it, but even at most, you're looking at 50% of her attack as arch damage per shot. So that's equivalent to like 250% of her usual DPS. That's about it. Obviously she can charge her attacks faster, but that is still quite a long time to charge, like 1.8 seconds to charge up 3 shots. So I don't know about it. So her skill 2, I don't have it, so I have to read off a wiki, is that she will let 2 enemies within her attack area to fall asleep for 7 seconds. And obviously when they're asleep, they are invincible, so she can't attack them. And when they wake up, well, when the debuff is gone after 7 seconds, it will deal AoE damage to surrounding enemies for 300% of her arch damage. So, do I need to remind you again? 1400 base attack. So the thing about her is that with her high base attack, pretty much everything that she does is super strong. But since she's a caster and we have AFLR, most of us probably wouldn't need her. But if you don't have AFLR and you want someone that is like really high one-shot damage to do like a burst damage kind of a situation, I think Iris is a pretty good choice. So that is Iris for you. Maybe not the most versatile operator, but definitely a really interesting one. So here's the final and, dare I say, the most important operator in this entire banner. 6-star Archetto. So I know that a lot of people might think she is pretty much just Exia and a worse version of Exia. I understand, because that's what I felt at the start, but hear me out, okay? So her talent is kind of meh. Like, her first talent is that when she's on the field, all sniper operators with skills that gain HP on attack will recover 1 SP every 2.5 seconds. So you can think of Chen talent, but this is only for snipers, not for every single operator, like every operator that has attack on SP on attack. Her second talent is even more worse in my opinion. When she's deployed, immediately gain a shield that absorbs, like, neglects 1 damage, and when the shield is broken, gains 7 SP, goes to 9 SP at higher potential. To be honest, I feel this is rather useless, because taking 1 hit on range, like high ground units, when the HP is so low and low defense, not my thing. So as you can see, her talents are the best, and then we have to look at her skills. Her first skill is that she will deal 230% damage on the next hit and will deal extra damage to surrounding 3 enemies for 180% physical damage. So that's a combined of 410% physical damage for 3 SP at M3. Meh. The radius isn't that big as well, and to be honest, I think this really isn't the most impressive skill. Second skill, immediately fire an arrow that deals 140% damage for 5 times. It can ricochet to the next enemy that hasn't been selected yet, and every time it ricochets, it deals like 1 less time. So it's like 5 times and then ricochets 4 times. It's easy to understand. It's like chain lightning. You get it. This skill can be charged up to 3 times at M2, and like I said, at M3 it is 140% and requires 9 SP. Again, SP on attack. So 9 damage, like shooting 9 times to charge once. It's not really the best, but it is rather interesting of a skill, since you can see this skill being used in some of like Archetto soloing some stages, and she can really hit enemies that is not within her attack area. Like, you know how usually enemy comes in a lane, and so if you use this skill, you can hit targets down the path that enemy came from and hit enemies that is not in her attack area. Very interesting skill. I don't usually use it. Then there's the third skill. At M3, this skill requires 30 SP, can last 20 seconds. You will gain plus 30% attack, increase 1 attack range, shoots triple bursts, and can hit 2 enemies at the same time. So if I translate it, you can think of blue poison hitting 2 at the same time, plus extra burst, but instead of 5 bursts, it's 3 burst. And then you can hit enemies that are further, just like Platinum. Platinum plus blue poison plus extra combined is exactly this skill. And this skill is very good. Now, Exia is good. So is Archetto. And none of them are like the one operator that kills everything. This is a very balanced game. Except if you ignore like Certa, but you get the point, right? And to be honest with you, Exia has been going down in like the usage a lot, even like drones. You know how chapter 8 drones, you don't really use Exia because you don't like, their defense is so high, you'd rather use other operators. and how I've been using Silver Ash as my anti-drone operator for like the longest time. And these single target snipers seems to be, well, used less, because when enemies are low in defense, you can really just kill them any other way now. But the reason I recommend you to pull Archetto, despite me not really use her for the longest time until a certain point, is that after a certain point, a bit of a spoiler, if you know what point, you will know the point. If you don't know and you don't like the spoilers, probably don't look it up. But after a certain point, a certain operator release, and in that exact same event where that operator releases, you will know that having this extra operator is very good. That is all I will say now for this operator. So Archetto, definitely worth the pull. Okay, so how would I recommend you to pull this banner? For most people, I would recommend give this banner a try. Go for a 6-star at least is what I would really say, and probably don't go too far is also what I would say. So let's say you have like 100 pulls and you want to like, you're a monthly card buyer or you're free to play and you only have 100 pulls. Don't go 100 pulls. You know, I'm not saying that she's a must-have. She's just a really, really good to-have. There is no such thing as a must-have operator. Even Surtur is not a must-have, right? She's not like, Archetto is not like Surtur broken, but she is still very, very powerful. And if possible, I would definitely recommend pulling this banner. Get 1 6-star, and if you didn't get Archetto, tough luck, but at least you gave it a try. Don't just leave this banner without giving this banner a try. Get Beanstalk, she's very interesting. Iris, less important if you really ask me. She's more for like special playstyles. And Archetto is definitely really awesome to have. Now, this video really took quite a long time to make. The main reason is that I know a lot of people don't really agree on my opinion of my recommendation of pulling Archetto. I understand it because I was pretty much in their position. I felt exactly the same way and I really didn't felt the need. But I had to change my mind because future of this game really changed a lot, as some hidden, like some extra mechanic, some other stages came by and some new operators that changed the environment entirely. And at that point, if you don't have Archetto, there are some stages that would be very, very hard to get by. Trust me, because I've seen people who doesn't use Archetto and got stuck while I go through the same stage easily because I have Archetto and I use Archetto. Those people are higher level, higher potential, more M3s than I do. They wail, I'm a free to play in CN, and they still struggled harder than I did. And that is all thanks to Archetto. So if you trust me, please give this banner a try and don't go too far, because I know the whole more limited banners that are coming thing. So don't push yourself too hard, but give it a try. You won't regret it in the future. And yeah, probably E2 her if you're going to pull for her, right? Alrighty, thanks for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you found this information helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya!